Let's start by saying a big sorry and a well done to all our Italian fans out there. Congratulations. Epic performance against Australia, as I said earlier on in the week. The only prediction I got wrong, so hopefully today we're going to get them all right. My name is Shanair, and welcome to All Things Rugby's preview of this weekend's upcoming internationals. So let's start with Italy. Obviously, they're going to be on a massive high after last week. Hopefully, they didn't enjoy it too much and they got to training straight away. But this weekend, they welcome South Africa. And yeah, I said it all during the week. South Africa are just miles ahead of everyone. So, look, if Italy can do this, then by God, just give them the World Cup now. But yeah, I don't see it happening. We're going for quite a comfy South African win. No matter who they play, as I said, that depth they've got can be anyone in the starting 15. And we're pretty sure they're going to come away with a win in Italy. Over to England next. And I gave my review on what I think about England's and Steve Borthwick's team. But I just think that, you know, that front row is probably going to get mullered in the scrum. Again, I would love to be wrong, right? This is the one prediction I really want to be wrong about. But I just think All Blacks are going to be too much for them. If ever there was a time to play against them without Scott Barrett, without Geordie Barrett, without Tupavai, without Patrick Tuipulotu, this would be it. But they just looked so good last week. Even with a man in the bin, D-Mac came on, absolute game changer for them. So I just see the same thing happening this week. Look, there's going to be some great matchups. Like when Marcus Smith comes on and D-Mac comes on, it's going to be the battle of the number 23s. The back row battle is going to be awesome to see. But I just see All Blacks having too much for this one. And even with George Ford's kicking, if that's the only thing I think England can do, just keep the scoreboard ticking over and hope that the All Blacks just can't catch up. Over to Cardiff, which might be one of the best games to watch this weekend. We don't often say that about Wales, but over in the summer, Wales went over to Japan and they finished 1-1 against them. So let's see how they're going to get on. Obviously, no Jack Morgan is such a big loss. I would have liked to see Tommy Raphael come into that, but they haven't. And we're going to see probably Louis Rees-Zammit start on the wing for them as well. Japan are going to be without Michael Leach and without Gunter as well. So that's a big loss for them. Is this the Wales performance we want to see? Like, obviously, they got 4 tries last week, which is great. But, you know, their defense, some of the tries that they conceded were shocking, to say the least. And we know that Japan like to play quick. We know they can be quite unorthodox. So, yeah, look, this is going to be a good game. But I'm going with Wales. Try and be nice about the next one because I've got a lot of Irish and Aussie friends. But after 2 lackluster performances by both sides, Ireland are going to be hosting Australia. Ireland, obviously, off the back of Chicago. They won last week, but not a great performance. Even Andy Farrell said it. And Australia, well, you know, didn't really turn up against England. Again, lost against Italy last week and just looked tired. So, yeah, we don't know what we're going to get now. Is Carter Gordon going to get another run in the shirt? Is Edmed going to come back in? You know, it's going to be an interesting one. I think Will Skelton's not going to be playing because he got injured during the week as well. So, yeah, I am going to say Ireland at home are going to be too strong for Aussie. But look, we just want to see a good performance from this Australian side. But we're going with Ireland at least a score ahead. Hopefully, the most exciting game of the weekend and the one we're all going to be staying up late for, France versus Fiji. Now, we know both of these sides can chuck the ball around and have got absolute skills all over the park. Will the French team rotate a little bit after last week? Fiji looked very good in that first half against England, but just couldn't hang on. So hopefully if they get ahead, if they get that one score that really just perks up the team, they can give France a run for their money. But look, we saw the French team, even when they rotated against New Zealand in the summer, have absolute great skills and depth in that back line as well. So, but probably a France win, but my heart would love to say Fiji. As much as I think that England All Black game will be close, I think the tightest game of the weekend is going to come on Sunday when everyone's getting ready with their roast dinner, have one final beer and watch Scotland host Argentina. Now, both of these teams are incredibly skilled and they've got gifted athletes all over the park. But I was very critical about Scotland during the week and I just said that they needed to play these teams at the top table, tier 1 teams. And actually, Argentina is probably the team that, similar to Scotland for the Southern Hemisphere, they can take a scalp every now and then, but they just can't kick on all the time and make it consistent. So this will be a very, very good game. We know that both teams have got fantastic kickers. Sani Carreras went 8 from 8 last week, and he was hitting them from both touchlines. So if Scotland give away penalties, expect the scoreboard to just tick over. But, you know, they're probably going to bring back Dewey this week, which will add a massive amount of physicality to that back line. So this will be a tight one. I'm going to go for Argentina less than a score. Sorry, Scotland. Like last week, there is a lot of other rugby happening this weekend, though. So starting off, we've got Georgia hosting Canada. Now, again, we didn't see the best performance from Georgia last week against the USA, but guarantee Cockers is going to absolutely rinse them in training this week. And I just think that Canada are going to get an absolute backlash of that. So I'm going by Georgia by at least 3 scores. If you do have a second screen this weekend, the one game I'd recommend watching is Portugal versus Hong Kong. We've mentioned about Portugal's decline after the 23 World Cup. And with Hong Kong making the 27 World Cup, they've had so much game time recently. They just played Brumbies in a friendly last week, and they're developing at a massive rate. So you've got Portugal on the decline, Hong Kong hopefully on the way up. This should be a really good game. Prodi have got around this week, so we don't know if everyone's going to be released for Portugal as well. So this might be the one to keep an eye on. Another tight game that we're probably going to see, and again, one for the purists, is going to be Romania versus the USA. Now, USA looked so much better last week against Georgia, and Romania literally have been pulling it out of the bag the last couple of games, which we didn't see in the Rugby Europe Championship. So, look, I think Romania will be too strong for this Eagles side, but I think this is probably going to be the game that Eagles get closest to. So, yeah, Romania win, but hopefully a good performance by the Yanks. Last week, we saw England A make a few mistakes, few too many against the All Black 15 and come up short. But this weekend, they're over in Spain. Mark Mapletop has rotated a lot, but still, the 15 he's put out there are all good Premiership players. And we saw Spain last week against a third, fourth string Irish A team. Didn't have anywhere near the talent on the pitch, the physicality, the discipline. So, look, England A are going to run away with this one, unfortunately, but keep an eye on Carl from Rugby Through the Leagues page because he's going to be on the ground as well. So it'll be a good game and good atmosphere, but England A are going to be far too strong for Spain. That All Blacks 15 team that beat England A last week are going to be facing Uruguay this week, which will be an interesting test for them. I still think they're going to be far too strong. You've got too many, All Black caps in there. You've got too many good Super Rugby players in there. And as much as Uruguay look better and they look like they're, the top of that tier 2 list at the moment, I just think they're going to be blown away by this All Black team. So a big win coming for the All Black Travelling 15. That's it. A lot of rugby again to watch this weekend. So make sure you stay tuned to All Things Rugby. All of the previews, the reviews will be on the stories. I'll be drinking lots of beer and watching the games as well. So feel free to message me in the comments and see how my predictions are going. Once again, my name's Shanair and this has been All Things Rugby.